Aloha and welcome to Love Revolution. My name is Amber Quile Mailani Benici, and I am leading a session today on creating your Love Revolution and journal. Mia asked me to help you come up with something really yummy, a juicy container for this information and for the retreat sessions that you'll be experiencing. So let's get started. I'm asked you to, as far as in the materials list, there are some things that you're going to need. Any journal will work. So don't worry about having to pick out something super special unless you want to. Just grab anything. Composition books that you can get for 99 cents are great. So here are a couple examples of things I have I'm going to show you today. One, here's just a plain old journal. And composition book. Bam. Anything will do. Second, make sure that you have some scissors, yarn, if you want an old magazine, a paper bag, any coloring goodies at all that you have lying around the house. So this is the time to bust out your crayons, your Crayola markers, any watercolors. This is a set I have for my kids, like old watercolor set, or regular paints and paintbrushes. Glitter is great, and glue. So let's go ahead and get moving. Who's excited? Me. The first thing that we do is we are working with intentional creativity. Now, intentional creativity was birthed from Shiloh Sophia, and what this means is we're not just creating to create. There's a purpose behind what we're doing. I want you to think of your intention for this retreat. Why did you sign up for the retreat? What is there that you want to shift or change in your life? And think of your intention as an anchor point, that's going to hold you in place when you are getting this information. That's going to keep reminding you of what's important to you. So I want you to think about that as we create your journal, that you are creating with intention. It's not just to make something pretty, but you're creating in order to transform. You're creating in order to open up. So let's go ahead and start our creating. I'm going to show you first to go ahead, one way to put a cover on your book. If you have any journal, you can go ahead and take an old paper bag. Here's one I have from the grocery store. And I'm going to actually tilt the camera down here so you can see what I'm doing on my lap. Come on down. All righty. So here's the paper bag. You can go ahead and cut the edges so it's not ginormous. I've already done that ahead of time to save some time. And what we're doing is, if you remember, if you ever had to cover your school books to protect them, this is what we are doing. You are taking your journal and you're covering it. Now, this is an optional step. You don't need to do this, but I'm showing you how in case you want. So you take the edges and you're going to fold the paper along the top and the bottom all the way across. So go ahead and do that. Boom. Boom. So that it's going to fit the size of your journal. And I like to measure, make sure that it fits all the way around, because sometimes I'll fold it and it'll go like, wow, wonky. And then you're going to bring it over your journal and fold it over the edge so it fits. And I like to pull tight a little bit and do that. See, here we go, it's on the edge. And now we want to attach it to your book. So I like to just take the edge of my journal cover and slide it right on in here. Slide it in. And be sure to keep measuring as far as opening and closing, because when it's open, you see how there's some space. If you folded it all the way, then it wouldn't be able to close. So make sure that it fits right on both edges so you're able to slide it over. And voila, you have your journal cover. From here, you can go ahead and doodle, paint, you can collage. The world is your oyster. Now, what I like to do with I'm going to show you one thing I've done here. This is a composition book that I took, and I just went ahead and collaged it. Ripped out some words that fit with my intention, connected to images that I loved. I even got some pretty yarn, and I've got like these blingy things. I've got some glitter in here. There's all sorts of ways to create your beautiful journal. And just go ahead and glue it with some glue. Any type of glue will work, or also Mod Podge. Boom. Mod Podge is like glue. It's a water-based sealer and it's a finisher. So that works fabu also. The next thing that we're going to do is, because if you look at, for example, this is one of my books, you'll notice that it's actually really fat. Ooh, ooh. So what you want to do is you want to reinforce the pages so that the pages don't like fall out of the book. And one easy way to do that is to get some yarn or thread, and about every 20 pages or so, you're gonna take your yarn. Today I'm using red thread. If you're part of the Red Thread Sisterhood, then you know what this is about. It's all about connection. And that's what the red thread represents to me. So I like to use red thread in lots of things I do. Find my scissors. And a little chop chop. You want to tie it tightly. So this is going to reinforce that binding. Keep it from going anywhere. Voila. And then you can choose what colors you want and the way you want to do it. So this one, I actually did the colors and then I let the tail hang off the bottom. This one, I think I did the top, and I attached a bead to it. Let your imagination take over, my darlings. All right, and then the next thing that we're going to want to do is to reinforce your pages. That these journals may not be art journals. If they are, if you've already got like an art journal that is heavy duty, it's fine, and that's perfecto. But if you don't, no worries, I got you covered. Go ahead and take your glue stick and you're going to glue 2 pages together to reinforce them. So you got double the action, extra, extra. Boom. Glued together, instant thick page. Ta-da! And so that is going to help if you want to do any sort of painting, anything with water, so it's not going to shred your page. And also if you do anything with markers, it's not going to bleed through. All right, so now that you have the basics on your journal, next is how during your retreat session, how to art it up. Okay, so the reason that we're using creativity is because creativity activates both the right side and the left side of your brain, so that you are not just taking notes and writing things down, but we are going to help you learn faster by doing this. It's like you learn faster and it's fun. It's like a double dose of awesomeness. So a couple easy things. One of the most easy things to do is just to add color to the page. You can do crayons, which are super fun. Just take a little crayon, do a little scribble action across it. Excuse me, I'm getting all... Oh, I used a light blue. Sorry, ladies. The other thing you can do is to paint. So I'm going to take some of this paint I got from my kids and just add some watercolor. The less water and the more color, it's going to be darker. I know that that's actually difficult to see, and I apologize for that. But I put in a nice little wash of purple. I'll show you if I have another one in here that I've done that you can see. Here we go. Here's another wash. Some purple and some glitter on that one. Okay, so that's one simple, easy thing to do, is to add some color to your page. The next thing that you can do besides watercolor, you can start to kind of decorate the page. And I like to use markers, crayons, anything like that. I'm going to take a nice little Crayola marker here and start to decorate the borders of my page. Lots of things you can do. Experiment. That's part of what this is letting your brain go so that you can create some space. When you're listening to retreat sessions, let yourself doodle. Lines, dots, shapes. For example, here we go. You might be listening about our hearts. And then I feel inspired to have a flaming heart. And then I decide I want to doodle inside my heart and just create some interesting things, not for any reason in particular, but because I want to. And voila. Heart. Now, we're also going to look at, besides doing design and playing with the background, you can also play with your words, okay? So, for example, I'm going to take I think I have something around here. Haha. Take my regular old Sharpie here. We're going to play with how to write creatively, okay? So, you know the way you would normally write, here's the way I would write word. Word. Okay? Now, I was taught this technique by Shiloh Sophia, and this one is to actually take the front letter and the back letter and elongate them, make them a little bit different. So, W, word. Word. Okay? You can play with cursive. You can play with block letters. So let yourself, as you're taking notes during these sessions, play with, you know, either titles, certain things that stand out to you. Let yourself play in that area, okay? Now I'm going to show you also image, that as someone's speaking, like let's say, for example, someone's talking about letting your spirit flow through you like a fountain, and you want to draw a fountain. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and play. This is the only person that's going to be seeing your journal is you. So don't stop yourself from diving into this space. This space is your sacred container. That by drawing that fountain, you're going to remember it and the feeling you have better than if you write the word fountain. Okay? Now, some people I know are beginners, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to draw. I'm just going to show you a really easy way to draw people. I want you to think, or anything really, I want you to think of the general shape of it, okay? We'll start with a person. So person, we're keeping it simple here. They got a round head, you got some shoulders, and you got some hips. Boom. There's your person. If you're like me, you got curly hair. And there you go. So this doesn't have to be like, don't believe that you have to have like the super autistic ability. Excuse my, there you go. Let it just flow, okay? And so you play with word, design, image, and the last one is collage. Collage, what I love to do is to, again, because we're working with intentional creativity, to have your intention in your mind. Like, for example, if you just did a session and it's on relationships, and if you're looking for a relationship, then you just flip through the magazine and see if something stands out to you about that, okay? Don't let it be, oh, here you go. Here's one that just came into me about relationship. There are some dolphins, and they're like connected, and they're playing. They got leaves on their little fins, their little flippers. I'd pull this out and glue it into my journal, and then write whatever connection I had to that image, so that I remembered what called to me about that picture. Okay. So just to giving you a couple examples, I'm going to show you some things to inspire your creativity, to let you see some places you can go. Woo! There we go. Here we're going to start this one here. Like I showed you, this was the one that I did on using collage. but here are some, let's see what I can find for you. Here we go. This is a page that I used just magazines and collage, quote, and then I left some space here for me to take some notes. This one also, collage and space for notes. This is the journal that I'm working with my students, on. This one is using paint, some watercolor, collage, and Word. Moving into, this is some paint and Word again. And this one, I think I didn't even have a paintbrush. I just like took a napkin or something and dabbed it. And this is an example of Word. I played with background color and then playing again with words. Playing with block and playing with, the elongated letters. This I want to show you that I actually was drawing this one when the information was coming in, and I want you to notice that I colored around it. I left a space around the words and around the image, and there's something really beautiful about that. It's called glow, and what it does is it leaves space, that it's pleasing to the eye, that sometimes we want to fill everything else up and like go all the way to the lines, but our minds like some space. And then the last one I want to show you is a combination of collage and paint. This is some paint, and then I took some strips of paper and I cut them out and stuck them on here with like leaves to paper and just glued them right on. So I hope that this is inspiring to you, that you're ready to get started, get going on your journal. I cannot wait to see what you create and see how this really serves you and connects you during your retreat. So sending much aloha. Let yourself birth your creativity, and see you in our session together.